Hello, this is Sithie's Kitchen. Today we're going to show you how to make kak. Kak is a Lebanese pastry that we make for Palm Sunday. There are different ways of making it. Some of it is the old-fashioned way, which I'm going to show you today. Some people from the other parts of Lebanon, they make it a little differently, but all the same, it's used for Palm Sunday. And we're making it 5 pounds today because we can share it with family and friends. So we're going to start out, first of all, we have to put 4 cups of whole milk in your pan. Okay, and this is 3 cups of sugar. And 1 pound of butter. Sounds like a lot, but it's worth it. And we will put this on our stove and it'll slowly build up just to lukewarm. Okay, after we have all our ingredients in the pan, we're going to take it over to the stove. And again, it can only be lukewarm, so it's going to take a little while, so we don't want to burn the milk or the butter. Okay, so while that's getting ready, we're going to be able to do something with the flour. Add our ingredients that we need. Okay, now while the milk and the sugar and the butter are getting too lukewarm, we have ingredients to add. This is called mahlib. Mahlib is a pulverized part of a cherry tree. Sounds odd, but it's delicious. And we're going to add 2 tablespoons of mahlib to the flour mixture while it's still dry. Then after the mahlib, we add this. It's ground anise, and it has a great aroma. You add that. Then you mix the items together here, the ingredients. So, oh, it smells good already. You mix it really well in your flour. You want to combine it so that you don't have any lumps or too much in one area. You want it to be all through the flour. Don't forget while you're doing this to keep your eye on the milk because you don't want that to burn. Okay, this is about ready. We're going to leave a hole like in the middle here so we can add the other ingredients. We have a little ways to go. Takes a little while. Kak has been made for centuries, I imagine, because since my grandmother, who lived with us and was quite old even then when I was a child, this is her version of it, and this is how all the people that I knew of in that area that she came from made it. I'm over here checking the milk, sugar, and butter, and as you can see, the butter is starting to melt pretty well. Very small now. And we don't want it to get too hot. Remember, we said it's supposed to be lukewarm. The sugar is melted, and the butter is pretty well melted. So what I'm going to do is put it on a little pallet and till it cools down a little bit. Okay. We're going to come back every once in a while and make sure it's cool enough, because if it's too hot when you add it to your flour, it might ruin your yeast, so you don't want to do that. While the milk is cooling down, now we have to do our yeast. And we have 2 packages of yeast, 2 teaspoons of sugar, and half a cup of warm water. We're going to just add that to that. We're going to just stir it a little bit. And I just like to put this lid on it because it helps keep it warm and helps it to proof better. Okay, now our milk has reached the lukewarm temperature we were looking for, but you need to take out 3/4 of a cup of this milk mixture and you're going to save it. The 3/4 of a cup that we're saving is for our gak when it's done. Then we're just going to coat the tops of it. It gives it a nice shiny look and it tastes so good. Okay, now we're going to add our yeast, which is already beautiful. Add the yeast in, and now, bismillah, we're going to put the milk mixture. We can add it all at once. Great. Awesome. Okay, now this is the next step. We're going to incorporate this mixture into the flour. It's going to take a little while, but it's worth it. Okay, when we get it to this point, this is the ooey gooey part. This is the mixture. Okay. Reminds me when we were kids, we used to make mud pies. But it tastes better than mud pies. You can let out all your frustrations doing this. It's getting there. Slowly but surely. Yeah, you get a workout at the same time you're kneading, see? Hey, well, girls, what are you thinking of this? What are you thinking? Think this flour's going to get done here, or is it going to keep playing around with us here?
What are you doing?
I'm trying to knead this to the point where we get all the flour incorporated in this. And then, guess what we're going to do next? What we're going to do next? We're going to let it rise overnight.
Are we going to put this blanket on it?
Yes, after we put some saran wrap, and then we put a nice clean kitchen towel, and then we're going to put that blanket, and it just so happens it's one with St. Charbel, St. Charbel on there. And we're going to leave it here overnight so that the dough rises nicely. And then we'll be ready to start our gak. Some people call it dalami bahlib. There's two different ways of saying this, but it's all the same exact thing. Different parts of Lebanon call it different names. And do you know why we do this at Palm Sunday?
No, why?
The reason we do it is because it represents when our Lord rose Lazarus from the dead. He rose him from the dead. So this dough will rise, and we will celebrate on Palm Sunday. And then Holy Week comes, and then we do our really good fasting until Easter Sunday, when Christ arose from the dead. Okay. There we go. Now we have this. And we put thank you. We put a nice clean towel.
Lisa don't have to do it again.
Okay. And then, last but not least, our St. Charbel blanket. We were blessed to get this from one of our children for Christmas one year. So we're going to put this on here to keep it nice and warm. Okay? And this is how it's going to stay until tomorrow. Sounds like a long time, but actually this is a very heavy dough, so it takes a little longer to rise. So if you leave it longer, it's not going to hurt it one bit. It's not going to spoil. And then tomorrow morning, when we get up, we'll begin making our little gak. Well, hope you've enjoyed it up to this point. Good night. Sleep tight. See you in the morning, Alarad. Good morning. Here we are again. Our dough has been rising all night. And wow. See how beautiful it turned out? Okay, the next step is we have to turn them into golf ball sizes. And make little balls out of them like this. Put them on our tray. And we're going to put them all on our trays, okay? Okay, next step, we're going to flatten these out a little bit. And once they're all flattened out, then we're going to use the butter knife. I use it. You can use whatever you like. But you just take this and just put a little hole in the middle. Okay, and once this is like all has their hole in the middle, we're going to cover them. Of course, we don't want them to dry out. So we're going to cover them up a little and let them rest. This dough makes a lot of salami, bahlib, or gak. So there's plenty to share with family and friends. And you can store some in the freezer for a day after, and maybe a week or so later you decide, oh, I could use one of those with a nice cup of coffee or a cup of tea, and there you go. Vijan ahawi, or shy. Not shy like you're bashful shy, but the drink. Okay. It's kind of nice when you have a helper helping you with these. The time goes a little faster. We just put this oven at 400 degrees. And we'll put the gak in there for 10 minutes. If the tops aren't golden color, then we'll put them under the broiler. But if they are, then that's one step you can eliminate. This is our first tray, so we're going to start with the first tray. Uncover it, and then we're going to put it in the oven at 400 degrees for 10 minutes. And we put the timer for 10 minutes. In the meantime, we're going to heat up our milk that we saved yesterday, remember? And we're going to have it all ready, so when the gak come out, then we'll be able to spray them. Then we're going to put them on the cooling racks to cool. Oh yeah, the bottoms are done. Okay. Whoops. The bottoms are done, but the tops you can see are still light. So we're going to put them under the broiler just for a short time and keep a close eye on them. These are my gold dust twins.
Yeah.
3 months apart. But what one doesn't think of, the other one does. It was fun watching them when they were little.
Yeah.
See which one could get in trouble first and show the other one how to do it.
This is
It's really good.
delicious. Yummy.
Delicious.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
If Francis says they're good, I feel complimented.
Really
because-
good.
All right, because he doesn't usually like stuff.
Yeah.
What do you think, Kanisa?
I think this is delicious.
All right. And Marin,
This is the best thing ever.
how about you, Maria?
I could eat this every day for every meal, including breakfast.
Hey, that's good with breakfast. Maybe in a glass of milk.
That
How
does
about
sound
you,
good.
Ephraim?
Wow, this is really amazing. I really love this.
Good. And I see Jido's eating it.
Yeah, they're good. Very good. Oh,
If Jido says they're good,
It definitely.
okay.
Try it.
did you try one, Sithie?
I made them.
Yeah, that's
I know
what-
better.
No, try it, Sithie.
No, I will. I'm going to save mine till lunch. Okay?
Stop it.
But you guys enjoy them. Got more coming.
It's not time.
Thanks.
Dying. You know, now that we're talking about cock and making cock and everything, it reminds me of what years ago when I was a child in Cleveland. That's where I'm from, St. Mary's Parish. And the ladies' guild there, they used to make cock and sell it in plastic bags right in front of the church. They had a table set out there, and all the people coming out of church would just buy a pack of cock and go on home. So everybody used to look forward to that.
Do they do that at Palm Sunday, Easter time? Or?
Just on Palm Sunday. That's the tradition. Like we said, the tradition started, I guess, according to what we've been told. Jesus rising Lazarus from the dead. He rose, and so now this dough is rising also. And so there's a lot of old memories that were very sweet. And I remember my little grandmother, and she was a little delicate lady, and she used to make almost everything for us. My parents had a business, they had a grocery store and meat market, and so my grandmother was home with us. There were 8 of us in our family, including grandma and mom and dad, and so she did most of the cooking, and we just loved what she made. She was just a fantastic little lady and a great cook. One thing she made that used to make us laugh a lot is when cake mixes first came out. And she'd bring cake mix on the table and get it ready. And she'd say in her broken English, "Oh, that's too small. That's not enough stuff in there." So she'd add more flour, more eggs, more whatever else she could think of. Maybe nuts would be good in there, maybe some more cheese, whatever. So by the time she got done with the cake, it was a 9 by 13, but smallah was this high, and you need 2 men to lift it. But it was always delicious, and we always loved eating everything she made. She was such a great cook, yeah.
Yeah. And she came from what town?
My grandmother came from Tanyarin in Lebanon, and her husband was from Busmaya. Yeah, they came here, and my dad was 14 years old, my grandmother and my dad. And they worked very hard and struggled a whole lot. But with God's grace and blessings, there were 5 of us kids, and they got us all raised. And they were beautiful people, at least in my opinion. They were family. Everything was family. And
Yeah.
the holidays
What kind
were
of store
beautiful.
did you have? You said you had the grocery store that tells you
Yeah,
Grandpa's.
that was, my parents had a grocery store for probably 50 years. My mom was only a kid when she got married. She was only 19. And my dad already had a delicatessen at that time. But then they decided, well, maybe he'll become a butcher. So he went to school and became a butcher. And then they decided to open up a grocery store. And that was long before the supermarkets were even thought about. So people only shopped at these stores. So they were in the store for all those years, raising us kids. And then when the supermarkets came into being, of course people would shop the supermarkets because they could afford to buy things cheaper, so they could sell things cheaper. But he always had the butcher shop. They always still came back for the butcher shop. But then, fortunately, it was about the time Mom and Dad were ready to retire. So they sold their business. But it took care of all of us. And as my siblings got married, they all shopped at Mom and Dad's store. And of course, Dad sent them home with ice cream and chips and candy and everything for the kids. Okay. So they used to love it when their parents came to the store because they knew they were going to go home with a bunch of goodies. Yeah, now we are lucky to be blessed with 7 beautiful grandchildren. And they never can be too much for us. They're our precious little darlings. And when they're not with us, we miss them a lot. So when they're here, they're more than welcome. We love them. They make us laugh. They break up the monotony of the day. And if you're not in a good mood, just watch them for a little bit. They'll make you feel great again.
Yeah, no, that's good.
This is what I'm talking about. See? How could you not love these old turkeys? Yeah. Especially this guy. He thinks he's the show, right? Are you in the show? Okay, good boy.
Good.